If you still haven't got the hang of it, here's Happy Story 3. It's about the heavyweight champion of Canada, George Chuvalo, who won a hard fight in New York on December 12th. When he came home to heal up, something called the Canadian Boxing Federation told him to sign up for another fight before the 1st of January, or lose his Canadian title. So, more lumps on George Chuvalo's head don't scare the Canadian Boxing Federation. But here's how Chuvalo felt about the order to fight again within such a short time.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't aim to find out, Larry, or Ken, rather, because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to win by January the 1st. I'm not, that's silly. Actually, this has been a running thing for a few months with the Canadian Boxing Federation. They say I must defend my title within 30 days. They keep saying that. They've been saying that for the last 6 months. I said, well, find me a contender first, and then find a promoter, and we'll put on the fight. But so far, we haven't had too much luck in that respect.
The sports writers who write about fighting in Canada have often said that you're a man who's earned every dollar he ever made by bleeding for it. You do catch a lot of punches in a fight, and you do swell up. Have you ever had a medical examination that wasn't that pre-fight routine examination, but that where some serious professional medical man had a look at you to find out what, if anything, all of these years of taking this kind of punishment have done to you?
Well, we must have, I believe it's called EGG test or EEG, head test.
Electroencephalogram,
right,
yeah.
And of course they give you electrocardiograph test for your heart, and they give you all types, especially in New York State, they give you a complete, thorough, 100% examination, and there's nothing been found wrong with me, even though we have these tests every 6 months when we go to New York. So, if there's any damage, it's certainly well hidden, and I don't think it shows. So,
well, there's some
damage
showing right now. But
yeah, well, I mean, as far as my brain is concerned, actually, there's been no damage.
How do you feel? How do you feel? Do you feel, not when you're going into the ring, but just when you're getting up in the morning to spend an ordinary day at home with the kids? How do you feel? Do you feel as sharp as you used to?
In fact, I feel sharper now than I ever felt. Certainly, you know. I don't. If I felt duller, I think it would reflect in my speech or just, you know, general way I felt. No, I don't. You know. A lot of people are surprised, I suppose, because they think after a lot of tough years, a lot of fights, and, you know, a lot of tough fights, because I fought a lot of tough fighters. I suppose they think I'm supposed to stutter like the average stereotype fighter.
There's a cliche about the punch drunk.
You know, right. But that's, as a matter of fact, I've never met one yet. You know, I've heard a lot about them. I've seen a lot of movies about them, you know, and I've read a lot of books about them, but I've never seen one. Never saw a punch drunk fighter.
Yeah. How long does it take you to heal up from something like this, Ina?
Well, usually about a week. You know. I looked like Bob Pennington said in the telly, like I was hit by a Greyhound bus right after the fight, but it only takes about a week. I'm a pretty quick healer. You know.
Does this Canadian Boxing Federation amount to anything? What is it?
All they are, as far as I'm concerned, are a bunch of political appointees who are now trying to run the fight game. I think one used to be a public librarian, another one used to make false teeth, and I don't know what the other fellow did. I think he was a former housewife or something. I don't know what he did. But they really make me laugh because when there's a real problem at hand, and there is now, and I'm not referring to my not defending the title, I'm referring to the British Empire title. They've got a large problem they don't realize. It's like a man having a cold and you really find where in fact he really has pneumonia, because they say, well, George Chuvalo, why don't you defend your title? You defended last year, but you haven't defended this year. I said, son of a gun. How about Henry Cooper as the British Empire champion? As far as I still know, we're still in the British Empire. We're still on the British Empire Boxing Board. And I said, Henry Cooper's been the champion the last 10 years. I've been a ranked heavyweight for the last 10 years. I've been #1 heavyweight in the British Empire ranking for the last 10 years. And you fellas don't do anything about it. Every time I ask you to go out and do something for me on my behalf, you get quaking knees. You don't want to appear in front of the British Boxing Board in London. You don't want to make a formal protest on my behalf. All you do is try to stir up a little...
And if you don't think that's a happy story, listen to this. The Canadian Boxing Federation hasn't gone after a British Empire Championship fight for Chuvalo, but it has given him more time to make a fight for his Canadian title. Not because it was a foolish deadline in the first place. That would have made the officials wrong. But because they can't find anybody to promote the fight. So the officials are right again.